Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Centre Circle podcast, the new home of Midlands football. Today's panel, the mainstay of Sam Baggies, Alex, bottom left, Blues, and top left is Dale, who's our Wolves fan. So today I just wanted to sort of have a bit of a sort of a round table, really, in terms of all of our club's results, what we were expecting, because I know personally I think Villa have picked up 3 bonus points. I'd writ it off a little bit, to be honest. But I think best place to start really is Blues. I mean, what's your thoughts on it, Sam? What do you think?
I'm guessing you mean Trigger.
No, I'm asking you.
I'm Blues.
Yeah.
I think we've discussed this before, and I think that Blues team is too good to go down from the Championship, actually. You look at some of the names in there, and they shouldn't be in that position. And Trig, you can talk about this, but I don't know whether that's a result of Karanka's tactics, whether it's the wrong players, whether it's the culture of the club at the moment, which sometimes has an impact on how the players are playing. You know, if things aren't right at the club, then obviously the players aren't going to want to play. But that team should be nowhere near the bottom. Let's have it right first. I think it's a great result at the weekend, especially as they went behind. It's how they build on that result though now, isn't it? I think it's all right picking up a result, but can you go and pick up another couple of results? You know, you can't just win one and then go and lose the next few. You got to get them. If the squad should be motivated now, they know they can win games. They've got to go forward and make sure that, they're taking that positive momentum with them in the next couple of games. One game's not going to keep you safe from relegation. Like I say, it sounds like, Trig, from what you say, Karanka's somewhat to blame for some of the time, for some of the players that he brings on, or for the starting 11, the defensive nature of the team. You've got players there in Scott Hogan and Duke, I imagine Duke's still there, that can go and score goals. So why don't you go and attack teams? Some of the Championship defences, with all due respect, it's not known for defensive football, is it, the Championship? You go out there and you go and score goals. Look at Norwich, look at Pukki, look at Buendia. They go and attack, and all right, you're nowhere near the team of Norwich, without any disrespect to you, and I think you'd say the same. Yeah. But go and attack. Don't just sit there and wait for a team to score and then go and score yourselves. Go and attack. That's what the Championship's about, and that's where teams generally do well, is they go and score goals.
I think that's where Karanka, whether he's a good manager or not, and I think he's a good manager, he's like a Tony Pulis. He's just too defensive. And like you say, our players are good enough to stay in this league, and I've said that from the start. Hopefully we've turned the corner now. We've had 3 good results in a row, really. We beat Sheff Wednesday, even though that was a pretty dead game. We were actually the better side against Norwich, and we didn't deserve to lose. And then obviously beating QPR after going 1-0 down. That was massive. And now you just think, have we turned the corner? Karanka still will make the wrong changes in my eyes, because he done it the weekend. And I was messaging the group chat, weren't I? Kicking off, Karanka. And I think Dale watched our second half, and I was saying, watch these subs that he does. And he took off a centre half and put on a centre half. It's like, what's the point? But then that centre half, Mark Roberts, actually put the ball in for our first goal. So I don't know if that was lucky, but his subs actually worked, even though they didn't change the game. Well, they kind of did change the game, but I thought it took this thing out of the game, and then all of a sudden, from nowhere, we just scored 2 goals. But we deserved to win that game because we were the better side for 90 minutes.
Yeah. And again, Dale, if you've sort of caught the second half, what were your thoughts, and sort of again, what do you make of their momentum sort of pushed into the end of the season now?
To be honest, when it went 1-1, to me there was an inevitability about it. You could sense the whole tempo of the game, the whole, the pendulum had completely swung to Birmingham. There was only one winner for me. QPR are a bit of a, they're a bit of a nothing club at the moment, and they're sort of mid-table Championship, not really doing a fat lot. They might be a little bit, they're almost erratic at best, aren't they? They could go and spring a surprise, go and win at a Norwich or something, and then they'll go to a relegation team and relegation battling team and lose. They're pretty much just that team. It was the perfect fixture for you, really. Again, like Sam said, a victory when you come from behind means more, and that potentially now can kick you on. Scott Hogan, by the
We
way,
haven't done that in a
may
long
not get
time,
enough
but
credit. Scott Hogan may not get enough credit. He's the one player who can drag you out of this, I think. He's the one player who's
I've
got
always
a bit
said
about
this
him.
about Hogan. I think Hogan is one of those players that if you actually play him properly, he's lethal. And at Villa, we didn't play him properly. And maybe, you know what, in this system that we're playing now, where we kind of play a lot down the sort of into decent areas and off the shoulder, he probably would work better now. However, lumping balls up the top and putting crosses into, you know, he's not going to win those. So, you know, if you're going to play Scott Hogan, you know what you're playing with. But failing that, what I've actually put down a few things, Trig, and you know, again, Villa to Blues. But I think that I don't know even if going back as far as past the Sheffield Wednesday game in terms of that message from the fans to the players. And I know that might sound a bit cheesy, but it just kind of, that's what they've needed in the stands, to just say, we are behind you, you know, we need you to stay in this league. And then, you know, the Sheffield Wednesday, you know, regardless of whether it was a dead game, it is a fantastic result because that is a 6-pointer down there. And then, you know, you go to Norwich, you go a goal down early and you fight back. And like you say, better team, probably deserved a bit more out of that game. And then you almost blues the QPR in the fact that you normally give the goal away early and you normally score and then end up losing, and you've kind of done the opposite. And I always think that's a really good sign that, you know, a team that's down there battling, that goes a goal down that then can get back on it. I think it shows that your heads haven't gone yet. And to me, that to me shows I think you're going to stay up comfortably now. I've got down your next 5 fixtures: Huddersfield, Barnsley, Bristol, Reading and Watford. I think all 5, you know, barring maybe Watford and, you know what, strangely enough, Barnsley, I think the 3 other games I think are winnable.
I think the last 3 games are tough. I think
Reading's a tough game, man.
Reading are a good team.
So I think Huddersfield's winnable. Huddersfield are in 3-4, and I think the next 4 games are so tough. Barnsley are
on the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, they're on the surge. But again, Reading are one of them teams, like Dale said, they turn up against Norwich, but then they don't seem to turn up when they think, you know, they can't get up for games like Blues effectively.
Do you know what? There is no easy games in the Championship. That is an absolute fact. And one of the points that will support this was mentioned by Mark on the podcast that we did a couple of days ago. And the season that we went up, we beat every single team in the Championship, bar Sunderland that finished bottom. We never beat them. And that is the proof that you need to know there is no easy games in this league.
Classic Wolves, though, isn't it, with Huddersfield?
Yeah.
I don't think Premier League.
That's it, yeah. And it'll be the same year this year.
You're playing this league.
Oh, yeah, it will.
Yeah.
We're staying up now.
I mean, sort of a couple of weeks ago, Trig, and we asked pretty much most weeks, you know, your thoughts, but I think it's been a fantastic 2 weeks for Blues. I think your results, your form, you know, I think sometimes you think we've won a game and we might not have deserved it. You think, oh God, I'm dreading the next game because it's just going to go back to the way it was. We've just kind of scraped through. But I think your form alone tells me that there's enough in there to be competitive. You know, you've been competitive against Norwich, so why can't you be competitive in the next 5?
Yeah.
You know,
that's what I've said.
You're
really,
a surprise package now.
Yeah, we've got the players, and going back to that letter that the fans sent out to the club, to me that was embarrassing. And if I was a player reading that, it would have pissed me off, because it's as though we've questioned their fight and determination, and that's never been the case this season. This season, it doesn't feel like it does in previous seasons where we were battling for relegation. It seemed like there was a dark cloud over the club, but this time it doesn't. Even though, like I've said, I think we probably still will go down because I'm a pessimist. It does feel different, and the players have got the quality and they have got the fight. I just don't trust Karanka to make the right changes when he needs to.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think you know, it is really tough, and I think, you know, as Midlands fans, I think we've probably bred into us to be pessimistic about our teams, because just when you think that you're on the turn, they just seem to let you down at times. And probably the only one that's in the last couple of years is probably Wolves, that have just exceeded expectations. But yeah, I mean, if I was a Blues fan, mate, I'll be feeling a lot more positive again, sort of looking at it. You know, I know one thing that you were sort of saying is you just don't take shots. I mean, I've got here that you had 6 shots on target opposed to QPR's 2. Shots off target was 7. They had 8, and you had the lion's share of possession as well. For me, that tells me that you are, playing at the right end of the pitch as well.
Mm. Yeah, you broke up a bit then, so I missed the stats. What were the stats?
So you've got you took 6 on target opposed to QPR's 2, 7 off. They had 8, and you had 56% of the possession.
Yeah, see, that's actually unlike Blues. We don't normally create chances, but like I say, we were on top all game. Well, I was going to say I never doubted that we were going to win it, but I did, obviously, all game. But even when we're playing well, I'm still frustrated because the first half we could have been 3-0 up because we were floating balls in for Djukovic, who isn't on the pitch. So just stick him on the pitch. Yeah. And coincidentally, when he did come on the pitch, whether it was a direct reason or not, we scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
We're playing to his strengths when he's not on the pitch. Like you said with Scott Hogan. Scott Hogan is a game changer, but we've also got other game changers. But Scott Hogan, for me, can't play that role. That can't play up front on his own. Yeah. He doesn't really know what he's doing.
Yeah. So if you, one word to sum up Blues at the minute, before we move on.
Oh, one word. Well, I would say shit. I don't know.
Even after the last 2 weeks.
Nah, to be fair, the last couple of weeks, it's.
You got to go down that cliche of roller coaster trick.
Well, yeah,
an emotional roller coaster.
I'm gonna say, forget I'm a Blues fan. Forget the past. Forget that I'm a pessimist. Optimistic. We're quite a bit clear relegation. I'm just looking at the games now that the teams below us have got. That's the only worry at the minute.
Yeah,
points on the board. Points on the board, mate.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So from one happy fan to another in Sam. So what's your thoughts on this week in everything Baggies?
Up the Baggies. It was coming. Do you know what? The bookies got this one completely wrong. 16-5 we were to beat Brighton at the weekend. We've been playing well last couple of games. We should have beat United. We should have beat Burnley if we got 10 men on the pitch, and we should have beaten with 11 men on the pitch. We should have beaten with 10 men. This result was coming. And all right, it's going to get overshadowed by somewhat of a disgraceful referee performance, which I think we'll probably get to later, maybe. Yeah. I know they missed 2 penalties, right, but it's the only opportunities they created, really. Yeah. Okay, they missed another one where Johnson palms it out, but Johnson should have made a comfortable save. I think we deserved it, and I know that people are going to talk about the free kick. Why don't we address it now? Lee Mason's got it wrong. How wrong can you get that? Like, firstly, don't blow up to begin with. Why is he blowing the whistle in the first place? Because Johnston's organising his wall. It's clear we're not ready. You've got to wait till we're ready, really. Then, if I'm Brighton, I'm angry about that, because if the referee blows, he's got the right to take the free kick. The free kick's gone in. It's a goal, and VAR's bailed him out. And how often do we hear about VAR being the enemy? It's the referees at the enemy. The referees are, quite frankly, not good enough for the Premier League. And we talked about this earlier. We are the biggest league in the world. I don't care about your league, your Serie A, your Bundesliga. The Premier League's the biggest league in the world. And we're seeing officiating like that. It's a disgrace. But going back onto West Brom, and I'm sure you guys will have an input on Lee Mason. Fantastic, and that result was coming, and it's the hope that kills you. We're down. I think we know we're down, but we don't know we're down until we're down, if you get what I mean. And it's that hope that kills you. Newcastle are an appalling team, and I was cheering on Wolves at the weekend for one of the first times. And I think,
how did that feel, Sam?
Fine. Up the Wolves when they're playing Newcastle, and they should have won, actually. I think that there was an unbelievable save at the end, wasn't there? And they probably should have won.
Same. We had the same with Sois, though. Lascelles and Joelinton and Sois.
True, that was an unbelievable clearance. That was.
But we'll come on to Wolves a little bit later. But go on.
Yeah, I think we've played well since Big Sam has got his players that he wanted to play in the team. And I think Dow, you said we hadn't won. We've won one in the past 15, all right. But we've only had the team available to us that Big Sam has brought in, the team that Big Sam wants to play for the last 4 or 5 games. And we picked up results. Yeah. And the thing that most West Brom fans are going to say now is, why did that not happen in the summer? And, the more we go forward, I think the more you're going to have to blame Bilic and the boardroom and the transfer team for not getting that team in place in the summer. And you're right, you're not going to have players like Maitland-Niles maybe available to in the summer. There was rumours going to Wolves in the summer, I think.
They pulled the plug when he had a stormer in the Community Shield.
I heard he turned it down.
Yeah.
But let's not get out.
No, honestly, Arteta stopped it. He got man of the match in the Community Shield.
I'm joking.
But he's not. Do you know what? He's not the reason why West Brom have won that game against Brighton. The reason is there's two reasons. Carl Bartley turned into prime Maldini for some reason. I don't know why, but he's turned into Captain Fantastic and fair play. Cops a lot of stick from our fans, especially in the last couple of years. Unbelievable performance at the back. Okay, Yakuzlu, what a signing, by the way, this guy is. Sign him up, whoever it is. I don't think we've got an option on to buy him, but whoever does is going to get one hell of a player. I've said it on the pod before. We've missed players like Claudio Jakob, Yusuf Malumbu for a few years now, that midfield enforcer that you need. Kind of like a John McGinn, maybe, or a Dougie. One of those kind of players. We've not had that, and we've been relying on Sawyers and Livermore, who fair play, put a shift in, but not good enough for this level. Okay, he's come in. Okay, Yakuzlu, and it's just changed the team.
Yeah.
And we look so positive for it. All the news is, Brighton should have won, what have you. But I'm not sure that's necessarily the case. It's unforgivable missing 2 penalties. Let's have it right. But I just think we were good, and I think people underestimate us. And if you look at our fixtures going forward, it's a kind of 1%, 2% chance that we stay up. But our fixtures are actually really favourable. We've got Everton this week, which is not ideal. But Everton are playing today, so that gives us a bit of an advantage. The Premier League has screwed us a little bit because we've got the 6 points in Newcastle at the weekend. If we beat Newcastle at the weekend, the pressure's really on Newcastle. And then our fixtures going forward, you've probably got them in front of you, Drew. I think we've got some really favourable fixtures.
Well, I've got down
and we've got the 3 points coming from the Wolves again soon. So, that's another 3 points to the kitty.
Well, I've got down, you've got Everton, Palace, Chelsea, Southampton and Leicester. And I think other than Chelsea, I think all 4 of those are winnable, just purely on the basis. Everton, like you say, have got a congested little period. Palace are just a lottery at the minute. Chelsea are a new team.
Place for Palace, I think.
Yeah, Southampton are just they're a little bit like Brighton at the minute. Like, they're playing fantastic football, just can't get a win on the board. And then Leicester, they've got about 7 people having scans today. So, as much as we were speaking about them last week, that are they going to be 4th, mate? They're going to be lucky to get 8th at this rate. They've got at least 4 key players who are going to be out for a long, long time now. But kind of outside looking in, Dale, how do you think the Baggies should be feeling?
They should be happy that they've won a game, but let's just strip it all back. They've won 3 games all season. To even be considering the fact that they might stay up, I think he's a little bit daft. But you've said yourself, it's the hope that kills you. For me, I've said before, it's all about them trying to carry as much momentum into next season as they can, and the only way you're going to do that is by winning games. Lee Mason, absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. This guy has been a laughing stock of officiating for a long, long time now. I don't know how he's still in a job at the top level. And to think about English, officiating, we're under no illusion it's that bad. Just a bit of perspective, we've only had 2 referees referee a European Cup final in 50 years. That tells you the standard that we're operating at. And those 2 were Mark Clattenburg and Howard Webb, who no longer even officiate.
Bring your Rennie back. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. I mean, sort of, I get that there's frustrations around the officiating, but more towards like really Baggies. I want your thoughts on, I know you're sort of saying that, that they should be happy they've won another game, but do you not feel like their performances of late have really sort of took a turn as well? I mean, it's not just that they've sort of won a game, like they're a completely different side at the minute. They really are.
Yeah, absolutely. They should have won at Burnley.
With 10 men.
I actually disagree with Sam. I think that they got off. They really got off of it on Saturday. I didn't think that they should have won the game. When a team misses 2 penalties in the game and comes away with nothing,
But what he's saying on that, I don't think that's
their performance has been way better than Look at the start of the season; they were leaking goals for fun. They were getting battered. Palace 5-1 at home. I know they were down to 10 men for a long, big part of the game, but the performances, they're competitive.
Performances.
They're competitive again. Brighton are terrible.
Put in a good performance. So they're putting a good performance every week and don't win, do
but
they?
again, like I'll
saying.
take it. I'll take it back to the podcast you did on the Wolves special. You both agreed that performance is a secondary. Results are number one, and they are getting results. You did.
I did not say that. I did not say that.
You agreed.
For me, that's been. I haven't. I never said that. The whole catalyst. The whole catalyst. For me, even considering pushing Nuno out the door, was based on performance level.
I think you've got a two hammer there, mate, because you're getting no performance and no results. But we'll come on to that. Trig, what's your thoughts on the Baggies at the minute, and their sort of hopes of survival?
Give up hope.
Do you think? Is that classic?
Just accept that you're going to go, and if you stay up, it's a bonus. It is the hope that kills you.
It is. It is. I think as Midlands fans, we've all been in this position where you keep looking at Newcastle's fixtures, Brighton's fixtures, your fixtures, Fulham's fixtures, and it's. I mean, I was doing it last season. I think I even wrote down in a pad of like literally the bottom six is full fixtures of which ones I thought we'd win and what they'd win, and it's horrible. It really is. It's just the worst part of football. But I don't know. I just feel like similar to yourselves. I think something just seems to have clicked in the last week or 2 weeks, really. And I don't know. I've got a good feeling about both teams. I think you're both staying up.
I don't know about. I think it's too little, too late for us, but we've got a chance.
Come on.
9 points, man.
It's too late, and then.
But you've seen Newcastle's fixture. You've still got to play Newcastle.
They won't even finish above Fulham. They won't even finish above Fulham.
Why is that?
Because Fulham will get too many points.
I think if anyone's going to get out of it, it's going to be Fulham.
Oh, see, this I get where you're coming from. I really do, but I actually think that the way that Sam's grinding results out, and he's a master at it as well. He's been doing it all his career. He comes in at Christmas and saves teams. And you know, he's on the tracks to do it. He really is.
I think they've only won 3 games in 26. They've got to win 3 more games just to get level with Newcastle, and that's if Newcastle lose every single game this season.
Yeah,
it's not.
But how like I know they scored against Wolves, but they literally haven't got a player in their team that looks like scoring. They just haven't. Their centre half scored this week.
They'll naturally pick up points.
They will somehow. I think they will somehow. Look, yeah. I think we're down, but we're not a laughing stock anymore. I don't think. I think
that's fair.
I think we're a tough team to play against now. Actually, I do. I think
you just got to claw some dignity back in, yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching you a couple of weeks ago, and I just thought this. I mean, I think it was like the week about Leeds, and I just thought this is just bad. But I genuinely are watching now, and I think you don't actually look like you're going to score, concede every 10 minutes. And I think that's half of that is because you've had no legs in your midfield for most of the season, and now you have. You've got genuine athletes who are going to get up and down the pitch for you. I think you know naturally that's took a little bit of pressure off your centre halves, and naturally they've been able to sort of defend a lot better. And I think Johnston, to be fair to the kid, he's a great shot stopper. Not great handling, and his kicking's awful. But what he's needed to do for you this season, he's put himself up there to again maybe get himself a move at the end of the year.
Well, look, the only team that you look in this league where you definitely can't beat is Man City. We've played them twice. So there's hope. There's hope.
Yeah, definitely. Great. So same question. One word for Baggies. What you got?
I'll give you a couple. The hope that kills you. That's it. That's the summary of all West Brom fans at the moment, I think.
We've all been there, I think. So but on to Wolves. Trig, we'll start with you on Wolves. What's your thoughts? I'll go through the stats on Wolves first. Bear in mind this is Newcastle. Steve Bruce, touted as Bruce Ball. Shots on target 4 for Wolves, 6 for Newcastle. Shots off target 9 for Newcastle, 7 for Wolves. Possession 52% Wolves, 48 for Newcastle.
Well, I don't know. I watched the game on and off. I just think overall, well, I'm going to mention Dale here with the whole Nuno out thing. I'd like to hear from Dale actually before I speak on the whole Nuno out.
Okay. Same question to you then, Dale.
Where he stands on it.
I've gone over it 1,000,001 times. The window to move him on and to get somebody else in is slowly but surely closing, and it's shortening up.
I think it's past. You've now got to leave him till the end of the season, and you've now decided we need to give him another year. That's the thought process. I think you can't replace him in the summer.
No, definitely not. I've said this all along. If that happens, I'll be absolutely raging. I just don't see the point in it at all. It's like I said, it's a perfect opportunity to attempt a different direction. You know, I know we're looking at two different sorts of trajectories, but I just look at the model of Leicester. They chopped and changed a bit, you know, with Ranieri, with Craig Shakespeare, and they've just stripped it all back. They went and got their man in Brendan Rodgers. They went and got their man. And now look where they are. They've kicked on. They've kicked forward. And
difference is they haven't got George Mendes holding them back, though, have they?
I agree. I think Mendes is your problem. I really do. As much as he's been fantastic for you, I do genuinely think, and
it's
you need to bring a manager in. It's going to be a yes man. He's going to need to be a yes man.
Take us to that next level. That's all it is. Look, I've said on record, Nuno has turned it around. And that's due to the fact that we've stopped leaking goals. So instead of trying to play this dominant style of football, what we've done is just reverted to type.
Okay. I mean, so me personally, I don't think there's been a real upturn in your performances, if I'm being straight. I think you've had two decent halves in the last 3-4 weeks. I think some of your wins, I think, have kind of come off the back of kind of poor goals conceded on the other team's part, and you know, goal's a goal. I won't sort of take that away, but I don't really, you know, I was starting to get a few text messages off Wolves fans and phone calls off Wolves fans because Villa were kind of having a bit of a bump in the road and Wolves had won a few matches, and it was almost like our tide's completely turned now and Nuno's back into his flow. Is that how you describe it, Sam, or not?
Do you know what? Let me first say this. So sometimes I agree with Dale on this. Do you know what I think of when I think of Wolves? And it's easy for me to say this now. I think it's boring. I think Wolves are boring to watch.
Yeah.
Do I ever think? And you know, I'm a West Brom fan, so it's easy for me to say this. But do I ever think, crack in the Wolves games on? No. Like Leicester play some good football, don't they? Some teams play some good football.
Yeah.
To me, go back a year or so ago, 2 years ago, Wolves played some really good football. I thought they did. This season, it's just bland, isn't it? I mean, he came out results, but it's bland. It's bland football.
But he came out at the start of the season, didn't he? And he said, I want to change the style because I don't want to be this counter-attack. I want more possession and I want to do this and I want to do that. And I just, even, you know, and I know Wolves fans, like, they kind of go on to Jimenez, but I don't think they were playing well with Jimenez in the team. I mean, what's your thoughts, Trig? No, listen. The guy is phenomenal. He's a fantastic player, and any team in the Premier League would love him amongst their ranks. However, I don't believe when he was in that team at the start of the season, they were playing any better. I don't think the striker is the issue. I think they're so disconnected. The gaps between the midfield and the strikers are so big that you know, they're putting it all on Fabio or William Jose. They're not putting the service in there that those strikers need.
I mean, what's better off though? I think if Raul was playing.
Oh, of course there would be, because you know it's like Villa. You know, whether Villa are playing well or not, if you take Jack Grealish out of the team, you're a worse off team. You're taking the best team out of that team, and of course they're a worse team. But I mean, what's your thoughts, Trig?
I just think his hands are tied with Jimenez out. He's had to kind of, I suppose, alternate his tactics because he's got no Jimenez. He's got a kid up top who obviously isn't ready. I think he will be, but he's not ready. Was that
a criticism of the boy wonder?
No, I'll never criticise our Fabio. We'll play this back in 5 years' time when he won the Ballon d'Or.
Who's to blame for that? That's Nuno, isn't it? Surely, right? Surely they should have injuries happen.
You can't blame Nuno for a player getting injured like that. He was
no. I personally think we've had this discussion before. I don't think any transfers are Nuno's decision. I think he gets told who he's signing. And unfortunately, that is with a streamlined squad, and he's got to do what he has to do with that squad. Does he want to start the season with one phenomenal striker and an 18-year-old kid? He doesn't. Every team needs 2 or 3 strikers to be able to rotate because of injuries. But
he's got this. I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, Dale. Hasn't he got this policy where he wants a trim squad as possible? So I think he has got some choice on not bringing in as many players as maybe Wolves would want to bring in. I don't know.
Well, I don't think he's ever gone on record and said it, and if he has, someone please point it out to me. But the suggestion is that this has been the case now for 4 years. It must be a personal preference.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I said to you at the start of last season, Dale, I said I think you'd really struggle last year because you had Europa, Premier League, you wanted to go for your domestic cups, and it didn't really add a lot to the squad in terms of making it a packed out squad that you could kind of rotate in Europa and they proved me completely wrong. So we can't point the finger at that trim squad. He can do it. These players in the last couple of years have ran through brick walls for him and ran like Cody. I think he played every minute of pretty much every game last season. What's changed?
I just think Nuno out. It's a joke.
Yeah, but the thing is, like I keep saying, I'm not doing the bloke a disservice. I'm not saying that he should be dragged onto Waterloo Road and tomatoes thrown at him. I'm not saying that.
It doesn't matter.
I'm offering up. No, what I'm offering up is a fair argument as to why this is the perfect opportunity for the club to head in a different direction. Because of how this season has gone, and just because long term, for where we want to try to be, I don't believe that Nuno is the answer. I already think he has taken us as far as he can. But
okay,
I think that's fair. I do. I don't think he can take you any further. Wolves have got to look and say, where do we want to be? Do we want to stay mid-table every year? Keep Nuno, fine. But as they'll say, do they want to go further? I think they probably do need to change the manager if they want to go further. And it might seem harsh on Nuno, but football clubs work at the end of the day.
Okay, cool. So we've got the next 5 fixtures. You've got City in the week. You've got Villa.
Let's call it 4
Liverpool.
fixtures.
You've got West Ham and Fulham. So, yeah, let's call it 4 fixtures. So not many people are expecting anything from City. Bit of a free hit. I've got down there that there's 2/3 winnable games in there for you. I think Liverpool are gonna beat. Yeah, I think Villa, West Ham, and Fulham are winnable.
Yeah, I agree with that. I know Liverpool have been a bit of a shit show for long periods this season, but we never seem to play well against them at all. They turned us over 4-0 earlier on in the season, and they took 6 points off us the 2 previous seasons as well. So again, I wouldn't probably realistically expect us to. I wouldn't mark that down as winnable. No chance. We could potentially get a point out of the game.
It's a free hit, and it's worth going and trying. Go and try something with them. No one's expecting anything of it. And if you go and put in a performance, and it's stuff like that turns your season around. Even a 0-0 draw that you've gone at them and outplayed them, outworked them. Something like that can turn your season around. Okay, finally, what's your one word to sum Wolves up, or a phrase
this season?
Currently, how are you feeling about Wolves right now?
I'd definitely say below par. Par.
Cool. Okay. Well, moving on to Villa, and as much as I don't think you can look at it and think it was a fantastic performance, I do think we out Leeds. I think we outworked them. We smothered them. Greatest respect. I think they could have been playing right now, and I don't think they still wouldn't have scored against us. I don't think they created much. Did we create much? Probably not, but we got that vital goal and then just sort of camped. We've done it before. We've done it against Arsenal as well this season. We're managing to be that team that can sort of turn what looks like a 0-0 draw into a 1-0 win now. I personally think it's a free bonus point. I'd written it off. I thought we were going to get hammered. I think I spoke to you all about it. I thought we were going to get absolutely hammered. And now you kind of look at our next 5 fixtures in Sheffield United, Wolves, Newcastle, Tottenham and Fulham. I think that's 5 winnable games for Villa. I think that's 5 games at the minute on current form that we could win those 5 games. We could also lose those 5 games knowing Villa. But hopefully we've got cash coming back for Sheffield United / Wolves. Also Grealish, Sheffield United / Wolves. So that's, again, kind of feeling a little bit more optimistic about that. And, I was cited that Villa need 6 more wins to get Europa.
Maybe
What's
a
your
few
thoughts?
more.
Can they do it?
I think a
Well,
few more.
I'm just going on based on last couple of seasons' points tallies.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be getting mid-60s, I think. Potentially. I think last season, I think we had 60 points. Season before, I think it was 59. And now we're 2 7th-place finishes, I think. So, I think you need to be you probably on this season alone. I think the tally that second place gets down to there, it kind of will congest the points tallies a little bit more. I think City will obviously be well into the 90s. But I think 6 is being a bit modest there, mate. I think you certainly need to be.
No, I'm basing that on previous years. And I think if you throw a few draws in there as well, I really don't think you'd be far off with six wins and maybe two or 3, 4 draws, maybe. But
I mean, realistically, do you see yourself as finishing inside the top 7?
No, I've said to you before, I think 11th will finish. I genuinely don't think we played that well against Leeds. I think it was actually refreshing to see a plan B from Smith, but I still did feel like we were the second best in most of that game.
You scored early though, and I think that changes the whole game.
Yeah, it does. And Villa have done that a lot this season. Where we've took an early lead. And I think the stats fly up most games where it's how many, like the league table of teams that have lost points from winning positions. I think Villa are top. We've only lost 3 points from winning positions. So again, that is just something that just was foreign to us last season. I'm optimistic about the Villa. I think we'll kind of, if we could finish anything 10th above, that would be phenomenal. And then to push on again the season after, it just kind of sets us up to kind of, push on really. I think we have been a bit sleeping giant for the last couple of years. We have got the capability to really push on, but it's a case of now have we got the right manager in place? Like you say, can he take us as far as he can take us? And will we have to look at that as well? So, but yeah, I think that kind of concludes my thoughts in and around the Villa. And my sort of phrase to sum Villa up would probably be a bit inconsistent as well. I think we very much still got that about us where we're probably better against the teams we don't expect to win against. So,
yeah.
But that concludes. That concludes today's episode. Thanks for all the lads for joining, and if you like, please like and subscribe.